The New York Knicks are in a rough patch right now. 3 straight losses, their captain is sidelined, and the West Coast trip is rolling on. How do they turn this around? Let's break it down.
Run that intro.
They're playing basketball. Basketball.
You're listening to the Knicks Nation podcast, where we've got all your Knicks needs covered.
Puts up a three. Bang! Bang! He ties the game!
Now, live from the city that never sleeps, here are your hosts, Anthony and Chris.
What's going on, Knicks Nation? Appreciate you tuning in. This is episode 99 of the Knicks Nation podcast. Appreciate every single one of you tuning in. Once again, Apple, Spotify, wherever you're listening on audio side, we appreciate the follow. Please give us a rating on that end. Really trying to grow on that side. YouTube, what's going on, YouTube? How are you? Knicks are on a West Coast trip. They're 0-2 so far. Tough matchups against Sacramento, Portland, and Golden State coming up. Oh, and PJ Tucker is officially a Knick. That changes everything, right? Right, Chris? Yeah.
I hope
Not exactly.
So.
Not
so.
Not exactly. We'll get into it all. Mikal Bridges, Cat, Brunson injury update. Man, Chris, it was good.
Not much, man, if you're a Knicks fan, right? Look, all in all, we're in a good spot. I'm feeling all right, but man, bummer. You know, our captain, Jalen Brunson, goes down. Obviously, he's going to be out for about 2 weeks or so. That's a tough pill to swallow. And obviously, you know, things didn't go our way at the Laker game or the Clipper game. So, you know, the Knicks got a lot of soul searching to do, in my opinion. How you feeling tonight, Ant?
Feeling all right. I'm feeling okay. Look, Knicks got the weekend off, and they need it. You know, guys are banged up. Cat's dealing with a knee injury. Brunson is obviously out for, they say, 2 weeks. We're going to get an update on Jalen Brunson. So you figure he's going to be out for what, maybe 3-4 weeks to the beginning of April, best case scenario. And then at that point, he's only, I think, 3 or 4 games left until he's eligible for all NBA teams. So you know he's thinking about that. And you hope that he gets back before the playoffs. But at that point, at the end of the season, Knicks right now, they're in the 3rd seed, and they're currently projected for 51 wins. I think that gets them the 3rd seed, Chris. There's been a lot of talk with fans amongst, media, New York City, and they've been talking about, why won't we drop to the 4th seed and get the Cleveland Cavaliers in the 2nd round? I don't hate it. I don't. But at the end of the day, it's like you got to play who's on your schedule. I think, Milwaukee's, 3 games behind you in the lost column. Knicks have the 12th hardest schedule remaining in the NBA. Not terrible, but yeah, I'm feeling all right, Chris. I'm obviously PJ Tucker got signed yesterday, and that brings a different element to this team. And, ultimately, we got to get it together, man. We got to get it together.
Yeah,
we do.
Yeah, I agree. Look, the PJ Tucker news, obviously, I don't know how many Knicks fans feel out there. Obviously, he's a veteran. He's pretty old. I believe 39 years old. I'm excited for it. I still think PJ Tucker has, some in the tank to help us, if not just toughness, right? Something a lot of Knicks fans, including myself, felt we're missing, once, Devo went, and obviously Julius as well. So PJ Tucker brings that toughness element that I think we are sorely missing on this team. But yeah, man. There we go. That dog, right? That dog. That's exactly what we signed. So hopefully, obviously, he's really good defensively, and hopefully he has something for us on the offensive end too, but remains to be seen what that's going to look like. Do you think Tibbs plays PJ Tucker?
I do. I really do. A lot of fans were saying they should have gotten Moses Brown, Okeke, They should have went that route. But do you really think Tom Thibodeau was going to play TJ Warren, Moses Brown? You got less than 20 games left of the season. In my opinion, the answer is no. Front office realized, like, if we're going to bring anyone in here that right away could get the trust of Tom Thibodeau, it has to be PJ Tucker. I keep calling him PJ Walker, man.
PJ Walker. PJ Walker.
I opened up the live stream yesterday. I was like, Nick signed PJ Walker. I was like, oh, I quickly freaking had egg on my face. But yeah, man, right here, man. Yeah. Knicks don't have any dogs. PJ Tucker is a dog, man. And he's a veteran in this league. He's been around, done that. He's won an NBA championship. He has chemistry with Mikal Bridges, whether the New York Knicks looked at that and said, look, we got to give Mikal a little bit of a kick in the butt here. He had a good game against the Clippers, good step in the right direction, was, making his shots, hitting his open looks. Obviously, we'll kind of talk about that game. But Tucker, I think, was a valuable addition. But at the same time, I do get the fans that wanted Moses Brown. But guys, you have to realize who our coach is, right? And I just think with OG Anunoby, with Josh Hart played 46 minutes against the Clippers. You got to get these guys rest, man. You got to get these guys a breather. And I think Tucker's going to come in here. Look, he's not going to be with the team versus Sacramento Kings, but I honestly do think he'll come in here and give them 5 to 10 minutes off the bench because Josh Hart, 46 minutes against the Clippers. I'm already seeing flashbacks, Chris. I'm already feeling that type of vibe, like when the injuries start to pile up, like they did last season with obviously Brunson down. I don't want to feel that, man. The Knicks can't have what happened last year repeat itself this year. People have already wrote off this season. They've already had it in their head, like, we already know how this movie ends. I'm not watching this movie. I'm checked out. I'll see you in the playoffs. Second round exit, same old song and dance. And I don't want to feel like that yet. I enjoy the season. I enjoy watching the Knicks. I enjoy, the highs and lows. Yeah. It's the NBA season. But do you think he'll play?
I think he will. I think PJ Tucker will play simply because he's actually a veteran, He's a veteran. He's a guy that I think Tibbs, he's kind of like a Tibbs guy. He's a scrappy dude. He's going to bring that toughness. He's going to, he could defend his ass off. And whatever you get on the offensive end, obviously, is a bonus. He likes to shoot the ball from the corner 3 as well. So I think he will play. And I think you brought up a good point when it comes to, Moses Brown, who I believe the Knicks still have a spot left, if I'm not mistaken, on the roster.
Yeah, one more.
So that technically still could happen, But will Tibbs play Moses Brown? Probably not. Probably not. We've seen it. He's more likely to play somebody like TJ Warren than a Moses Brown just because TJ Warren is a veteran. So, I do like the PJ Tucker move. I think that's going to be, again, the toughness aspect of it is just a win by itself. But yeah, I think, look, with Brunson down right now, this is a good opportunity for the Knicks to kind of figure out life without Brunson, right? One thing I didn't like at the end of that Laker game before Brunson even got hurt was, again, last 4 minutes of the game is just ISO Brunson. You have Karl-Anthony Towns, your second All-Star, just parked in a corner. Everybody's just spread out. And while, don't get me wrong, you want Jalen Brunson to have the ball, but why just make it that much easier for the defense to key in on Brunson? Obviously throw doubles at him. And you got Karl-Anthony Towns all the way on the opposite side of the court, just standing there doing nothing, not being a threat. So that kind of stuff is what pisses me off. And maybe now this is an opportunity for the Knicks and the coaching staff to get more creative, get Karl-Anthony Towns in more motions and more schemes, get Mikal Bridges going, get him in more schemes. That's what I would like to see going forward.
Likewise. And look, the Knicks scored less than 100 points against the Clippers, and their offensive struggles were happening with Brunson after the All-Star break. The Knicks were they're bottom 5 in offense since the All-Star break. And the question I had for Tom Thibodeau was how? You have, Mikal. We all know him to, shy away from the hoop. Good step in the right directions versus the Clippers. Defense, I think, has gotten better, especially in the Laker game. He did a lot of fundamentals that, really don't show up in the box score, but I thought he was good on that front. And OJ Anunoby has been great for this team. Cat has, he had a few threes against the Clippers. But you got to look, since the All-Star break, bottom 5 in offense. Brunson is out for, let's say, the next month. So what are your options? Like, Tyler Kolek has joined the team, right, Chris? And Deuce McBride did start against the Clippers. And there's a part of me who just wants Tom Thibodeau to play the rookie and just see how it looks. We know Tyler Kolek to be tremendous with the basketball, great court vision, gets his teammates involved. And I think the Knicks offense kind of needs that creativity right now, kind of needs like a true point guard to kind of get people going. And Kolek is an option, is a name that I'm watching. But I honestly don't know, Chris. I don't know which direction Tom Thibodeau goes. There's a part of me who just thinks that he just stays with the current rotation and he doesn't expand it. And to me, that's not good. That's not good, man, because we've seen this song and dance over and over and over again. You got to let these guys play. And I think Kolek is not earth-shattering, but he's showing you in little spurts that he can dish the rock and he could put the ball in the basket as well. He can hit threes. Is he a target on defense? Yes. But, your offense right now is what's struggling, and you got to get it going.
Yeah. I agree. I would love to see Tyler Kolek, get some minutes. I do think you give Deuce McBride another look, obviously, for obvious reasons. Give him. We've seen him have the capability to run this team and play well. I know the Clipper game didn't look too great, but I would love to see Tyler Kolek be that second, guard off the bench, rather than Campaign, in my opinion. Campaign is great. He does provide you that energy, but he hasn't been great for us as of late. He's going out there, looking to score, which I guess is fine, but
He's been okay.
I feel like he needs to focus more on playmaking, get others involved. I think that's when his game goes to another level, when he's getting others involved and then you're picking your shots. I've said this before, Campaign is great when he's firing in all cylinders, and then when he's not, he's shooting you out of games. So I would like to see Tyler Kolek, but it's kind of difficult to predict what Tibbs is gonna do. But he has to get creative. I mean, I want to see this Knicks squad do some things differently, man.
That makes me nervous. Man. Because we know what Tibbs is, and look, the Knicks still have a good record. And I'm sorry to cut you off, but the Knicks have a good record, and yeah, sorry to cut you off though.
No, you're good. Yeah, you're good.
But look, appreciate every single one of you guys in here. We got a poll in the YouTube chat. How are you feeling about the Knicks season right now? So far, 31 votes. Confident, cautiously optimistic, frustrated, wake me up for the playoffs. So far, frustrated is winning the poll with 42% of the vote. Appreciate you guys in the YouTube chat. As always, I see you all. Crimes Dad, what's going on? Tony, Yuri, what's going on? Appreciate you, all of you. Dis Rover, all of you in the YouTube chat. Dark says, Tibbs is not a developmental coach. I really wanted Kenny Atkinson. I wanted Moses Brown, but he's not going to play him. Bottom line, he's not going to play him. I wouldn't call him not a developmental coach because, Quickly has been in here. Barrett's kind of had a good career. So I wouldn't say he's, not a developmental coach, Chris. But
yeah, I have to agree. I mean, he's kind of, rewritten that stigma for sure, in my opinion. I mean,
Grimes.
Quickly, Grimes, RJ. I mean, look, those guys, they've shown a lot of promise, so I can't say that rap on Tibbs, but it's just plain and simple. He plays veterans over rookies, and if you're expecting Moses Brown to come in here and get minutes when you got guys like Tyler Kolek, who's actually shown a few flashes here and there, and he's not getting into games, you're not gonna see those guys hitting the court. I mean, it's unfortunate, but that's just the way it is.
Tony says this bench has not produced all year, and these signings are atrocious. Not one signing has made us better. DeLon Wright, waste. PJ Tucker will be a waste. David says Tubbs is a dinosaur of a coach. We should have never have gotten rid of Woodson. Definitely should have kept Brian instead of letting him go to Cleveland. That was just plain crazy. Look, a lot of frustration right now in Knicks Nation. A lot of frustration. Yuri says, regardless, this season has been a roller coaster. Why not just be happy we are not 17 and 65? Love the positivity, Yuri. Always bringing the positivity in here. Yeah, look, but expectations, right? You came into the season. You made the big trades. Mikal was kind of, you thought, the trade to get you over the hump. Then you made the Cat trade, and then this team is pretty much it, right? You traded your picks for Mikal. Karl-Anthony Towns is signed long-term. Brunson signed long-term. OG Anunoby signed long-term. Mikal's due for an extension this summer. Josh Hart is still signed long-term. So the core, the nucleus is this bunch. Mitchell Robinson signed for the next couple of years. This is the nucleus, guys. So the question a lot of Knicks fans have been having, Chris, is if this is the nucleus and we're, 0-7 against the big dogs, if you want to count the Lakers in there, I think you're 0-9. But you haven't looked great against Cleveland. You haven't looked great against Boston. Again, it is year one of the experiment. I want to preface that. I really want to, take that point to home. It's year one of the experiment. And right now, what you're seeing kind of concerns you, right? Mikal hasn't shown up in these big games. Cat hasn't really shown up in these big games as well, even though as a season as a whole, he's been great for this team. Then it comes out, Alan Hahn says about a couple of days ago that Cat's knee is, quote, not good, and he's playing through it, and he wants to play. So you're sitting there thinking to yourself, you're like, man, look, I know it's March, man. Guys are banged up. But at some point, you have to expand the rotation to get these guys a breather. And that's why the Knicks brought in PJ Tucker. The dog, PJ Tucker, to come in here. I honestly think he's going to play, Chris, and I'll be shocked if he doesn't play. I'll be shocked, honestly. And I think he could spell Anunoby, he could spell Hart, because Josh Hart, 46 minutes against the Clippers. Look, I know you wanted to win the game. I know you're shorthanded, but come on, man.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
Yeah, I think PJ Tucker plays simply because, the report mentioned, he was in conversation with multiple teams. So I'm pretty sure, especially coming from that Clipper, situation where it was like, did they want to play him? They didn't want to play him. He didn't want to be there. It was, I'm pretty sure he wanted to sign with a team that said, hey, we're going to give you minutes. You're going to be a part of this rotation, something like that. And I'm assuming if the Knicks said, hey, we're just going to park you on the bench and we just want you to, be our vet on the bench, I'm pretty sure he wouldn't sign up for that. So I think he plays ultimately. I think he's going to be a help. I mean, don't get me wrong. He's not going to come in here and, turn around our defense completely, but I do think he's going to have an impact. And just that toughness alone, I mean, I think it's a good addition. Good addition for this squad.
It can't hurt. And it stinks that, look, Mitch came back, and now Brunson goes down. So this team might not even be fully healthy until the playoffs, which is like, it stinks. It truly does stink, because Mitch just finally came back. Dibs finally went to Karl-Anthony Towns and Mitchell Robinson in the Laker game playing together. I thought it looked great.
And that's when we took the lead in that game.
Yeah.
That's when we built up a lead.
I thought that looked good. Look, we had no pressures in that game, and it's like, okay, we're starting to get something here. And then Brunson goes down with the ankle injury, and it's like, man, we can't catch a break. So let's say Brunson comes back like 10 games left until the season ends, maybe 5 games left until the season ends. Is that enough time for this Knicks team to kind of gel as a unit again? Because you just got Mitch back, and now you're kind of, I wouldn't say you're going backwards, but they're on a 3-game losing streak. And look, Sacramento, tough. Golden State, tough. Maybe they just brought in PJ Tucker to come in here and lay Draymond Green on his ass. I'll be happy with that. But
Hey, that's possible. That's possible.
and then and then Portland, tough. So enough time to gel with Brunson back. Final 5 games, you think?
I mean, I want to say with the majority of the guys, obviously, I think they'll pick up kind of where they left off. But do you really want that? I mean, I don't know. But obviously, for guys like Mitch and PJ Tucker, that's going to be a no for me. That's just you can't gel when you're not out there, right?
Yeah.
So it's exactly what we didn't want. Again, we were hoping, hey, Mitch comes back, guys stay relatively healthy. We go, we end the season somewhat healthy, but with a full squad, and then we'll see what happens in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Now we got to deal with, not only hoping that Brunson comes back within this 2-week period that they're saying, hopefully, there's no delays or anything like that. But then Brunson has to come back and get into game shape. He has to get himself ready again. So that's something that could linger. So a lot more questions than we wanted to have around this time, especially coming to the stretch run here. But it's gonna be difficult, man. It's gonna be difficult for this Knicks squad. But that's why I'm holding out hope that Tibbs and the coaching staff gets a bit more creative with this squad and just finds a way to get others involved now, so that when Brunson does come back, you're not relying so heavily on him, especially at the end of games. Because let's be honest, with Karl-Anthony Towns, Mikal Bridges, and OG Anunoby out there, again, I sound like a broken record. I don't think you should ever have the need to go primarily to an ISO Jalen Brunson for 4 or 5 minutes straight at the end of the fourth quarter or even overtime.
Yeah.
Why did you get these guys if that's the case?
Yeah. And that possession where Deuce tried to get the ball to Cat there at the end, he just didn't feel confident to make that pass. And, unfortunately, Deuce missed a shot. But I agree. I think that's why I want to see Tyler Kolek run this offense and just see what he's capable of. Honestly, give him to the rest of the season. Give him till Jalen Brunson comes back. Let him run the offense. Let him out there. Let him make mistakes. I think the good outweighs the bad. I do. Because offensively, he'll give you a kick. He will. Yeah. And his passing is pretty darn elite. Like, we've seen some passes this year, pretty darn elite from Mr. Kolek. So, first game is Sacramento. You're going to have to wait and see if Tibbs goes to Tyler Kolek. If he's going to make a mistake, he's going to pull him. But we got a trivia question at the end. Stay tuned for that. Obviously, it involves Tom Thibodeau as well. Once again, appreciate every single one of you tuning in. Sunday evening, talking hoops. Knicks are on a 3-game losing streak. They are currently out west. Sacramento is on the docket. Hit some of these comments before we move on to the next segment. Crime's dad says, I want Cass to rest his injured knee. Chris, there's a part of me that I agree. Like, just rest Karl-Anthony Towns, get him healthy. If you drop back to the 4th seed, so be it. It really doesn't matter. I don't think the way the standings are set up, you're going to fall out of the top 6. This team is talented enough to kind of sustain 3, 4 in the Eastern Conference. If Karl-Anthony Towns is 70%, we've seen what this offense looks like in the beginning of the season with Cat healthy, with everyone pretty much feel like everyone was healthy in the beginning of the season, dropping 140 plus points, breaking records, all 5 starters in double digits. Like, we haven't really seen that in a minute. And if Cat, look, I know a lot of people say, nah, if he wants to play him. But you need these guys for the playoffs if you want any chance. Any chance. So
yeah. I mean, look, I hate to, obviously the whole load management thing is a touchy subject.
Touchy.
But, I said it I think I said this the last time when we were speaking about load management. I was like, look, sometimes you need to save the players from themselves, right? And obviously, look, Tibbs is going to run out his best players that give him the best opportunity to win, no matter how banged up they are, especially if they want to go out on that court, right? Which look, I appreciate Cat for his toughness, wanting to go out there and play, and I'm sure with everything he's going through, he's probably like, this is nothing compared to events that he's been going through in his life, So
Yeah.
I just think rest Cat, man, rest him, let him get healthy. As Alan Hahn even mentioned this. I know you mentioned the news before, but Alan Hahn even mentioned Cat didn't get a chance to really rest after the All-Star break. He was just one thing after the other, never got a chance to kind of get that little bit of break that the majority of the players got. So I think you rest Cat, game or two, play some of these young guys, and see where the chips fall. Because whether we lose a seed or two, is it really going to matter at the end of the day? I think your goal should be get to the playoffs as healthy as possible, because we have a lot of talent on this team, and you don't know what's going to happen, come playoff time. It doesn't matter the matchup. I think we're good enough to compete against any team. That's just my opinion. But
Any team?
any team. I still think that. Whether they figure it out or not, that's a different story. But, I think we have enough. I mean, don't you feel like that? Do you feel like we have enough talent in a playoff series? I'll put it this way. In a playoff series where you're not really going deeper than like 8, right? Don't you think the Knicks have enough talent there to compete, if healthy?
With who? Boston? Cleveland?
Boston, Cleveland.
They've given me no sense of confidence. So why should I feel like that? Well, they've gotten smacked. They had a weekend at Cleveland, at Boston, and they failed the test. So they didn't show up. They giving me no sense of confidence. There's a part in my mind, part of me like thinks like, drop to the 4th seed, get past the second, get first round, Cleveland, second round. Okay, see what you got, Cleveland. I think a lot of people are holding on to what happened 2 years ago. This is a different Cleveland team. They're the best team in the NBA right now, currently.
No, yeah, definitely.
I can't say that, Chris. I can't agree that they're ready to compete with Boston, and there's people who think they're not ready to compete against Detroit.
Well, I'm not saying, they're ready per se, but competing. I just think the regular season is the regular season. You can't always trust what you see in the regular season per se. I know 0-9, 0-7 against the top teams. I get that. But in the playoffs, it's just different. That's a series. That's just, that's a grinded out type of series. You don't know what you're going to get game in from game out. It's just a chess, it's playing chess out there. So I think in that scenario, maybe the Knicks figure something out, right? But point being, they have to be healthy.
Yeah.
As healthy as possible at least. But if you're trotting out Cat out there with a bulky knee, obviously we know he's dealing with his thumb injury. All these guys are banged up. Obviously Jalen Brunson is out right now. I think you got to do what you can to get these guys to the finish line, basically, to the playoffs as healthy as possible. And if that means sitting a few guys here and there just to give them a rest, let them heal up a bit, I think I do that.
I think I do that too. David says you have no bench to go up against Cleveland or Boston. We scored in single digits each time we played Boston and Cleveland, and we don't have the defense. We don't protect the 3-point line. We haven't played Cleveland. The only silver lining is we haven't played Cleveland with Mitch, right? We haven't played Cleveland with Mitch this season. We haven't played Boston with Mitch. And I guess you could hold out hope on that front because Mitch owned the Cavs last, 2 years ago when he faced Jared Allen. He owned them. But the depth, I think, Cleveland, look, rotation's trick in the playoffs no matter what, right? I mean, second round, you never know. Injuries happen. But I just think they've just given me no confidence this year, man. I mean, they haven't shown up against these great teams. Last year, they were having signature wins. You saw the fight. You saw the passion. These dudes were relentless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I
haven't
get
seen
it.
that this year, man.
Same.
I haven't seen that.
Same. I mean, that's why I said if I know this is, a big if, but if they figure it out. But I mean, in reality, this is what I think that the Knicks got to figure out. Obviously, on the defensive end, what was the trend versus the Celtics versus the Cavs? Even versus the Lakers late in that game, we just could not defend the three ball. Obviously with the Lakers, it's been a little bit different, but when it comes to the Celtics and the Cavs, it was just three ball after three ball after three ball after three ball, and we couldn't defend it. So, you know, I know that's kind of like a staple of Tom Thibodeau teams where it's basically, hey, those averages will come in line eventually. The law of averages will take effect. But in this NBA, the way these teams are shooting the three ball, we're seeing that happen more times than not, right? Teams are just hot, hitting three after three on this Knicks squad because we're in drop coverage or whatever the case may be. I think that's one of the bigger things the Knicks got to figure out. If the Knicks can figure that out, I think that there's a pathway there where they can compete with the Celtics and they can compete with the Cavs. But it's a lot to figure out, right? It's a lot to figure out.
It is a lot to figure out. This Rover said it is now a 0% coincidence how every single game we have only one or maybe two players show up and everybody else just lives in Brick City, USA. HRM says you think of Rusty Jalen with a banged up Cat and Josh beating a young, hungry Detroit. I don't know, man. That's a 6-7 game series the way we look now. Yeah, Chris, a lot of people don't feel confident even getting out the first round, but I do. I think, look, if this Knicks team loses in the first round, that's a disaster. I mean, I think everyone's gone. Like, Dibs, bye-bye. I think you got to, get some new blood in there and, overhaul the coaching staff. But, look, last 2 years, second round exits, Heat, lost in 6. Last year, lost in 7 to Indiana. And we should have beat that damn team, man. We should have. Injuries derailed us. And I think what a lot of people are upset is now is I don't want to keep going back to that team. I really don't. But this is our team, guys. And look, they haven't shown us anything versus elite teams. And one guy who hasn't shown up, Chris, is Mr. Bridges. Mr. Mikal Bridges.
Yeah.
You paid a lot for him. I haven't got my money's worth. I made it short that he's on a milk carton. He needs to show up. Now with Jalen Brunson out, it's time to put on your big boy pants, man. You got to ball out. You got to – look, man, I know he scored, 22 versus the Clippers. I mean, they got to figure out ways to get him involved in the offense, Chris. And now with JB out, step in the right direction against the Clippers, but Mikal just needs to give me more. What are you seeing with Mikal? Do you think he can snap out of it? Go ahead.
It's weird, man. It's weird with Mikal because over the past few games, I've been watching his body language, and it's just like he doesn't look happy out there, man. I forget the post game where it looked like he was just the most miserable person in the world, basically. Very short in his responses. I don't know. He doesn't look like he's enjoying his time being on the Knicks, if I gotta be frank. I mean, I don't know what's wrong with him. Is it really that Mikal Bridges lost his game, or is it more so that Tom Thibodeau said, "Hey, I want you to defend. You're going to be the point of attack defender. I want you, to go up against the best guy out there, and then I want you just park yourself in the corner on offense and let Jalen Brunson go to work." Is it that? Is it just, I don't know. It's kind of weird. He went from obviously a rough start to this season. Then it looked like he was figuring it out, dropping like 20 points regularly, being heavily involved in the offense. And now he's just, they pass him the ball and he's just quickly giving the ball right back. Like he doesn't want to even touch the ball. Obviously, like you mentioned, a good step in that Clipper game where he dropped, I believe, 22, something like that.
Yeah,
which is nice to see.
22 points, 5 assists, 4 rebounds, 1 block, 6 of 6 from the free throw line. Ladies and gentlemen, hold on.
6 from the free throw line. Wow. Look, that's the type of Mikal Bridges we need. Not just when Jalen Brunson isn't on the court, but again, I don't know what's up with Mikal Bridges, and obviously everything gets magnified because the Luka trade happens where they, if you want to say that he barely gave up anything, I mean, now in hindsight with Anthony Davis out and all that, it looks like the Lakers robbed Dallas even more. But again, there's the 5 first-round picks from Mikal Bridges and all that. It's just going to haunt the organization even more, especially with his play as of late. So, like, what do you think it is? Do you think it's more so a scheme type of issue? Or again, is it just a lack of creativity? A lack of creativity from this coaching staff where they're not getting guys, just in positions where they can maximize their talent.
He is shooting 15% from 3 in the month of March. Last month he shot 31% from 3 in the month of February. In January he shot 35% from 3. Seems like he got no legs on a jump shot, Chris. It seems like he's coming up short. His above the break threes are, the percentage is terrible. He's not hitting his open looks from there. He had last couple of games he's only attempted 2 threes total. Golden State game 1 of 5. Miami game he was 1 of 6. Memphis game he was 0 of 5. And during that Memphis game I thought he played better. Philly game 28 points where he dropped those 19 first quarter points where he had said interview where he just looked sad. Like, you just had a great game and you look sad. You look like you didn't want to be there. Like, embrace the crowd, man. It's New York, man. Like
that game, going back to that game, sorry to cut you off, but going back to that game, you said it. 19 first quarter points. And then they just went away from him completely. Why?
Look, it's year one. They're trying to figure out their offense, and I know it's a cop out. It is, but then after that, OG started to play well, right? So it's like OG plays well, then Mikal plays well, but we're just not seeing it be consistent, and we're not seeing him hit his open threes. And after that game, when they won it versus Philly, that told me, his interview, that the noise was getting to him. And I don't want to say that he's fragile, but that interview right there where he looked upset. He looked like we lost.
Yeah.
He looked like we lost the game. And I'm like, come on, man. Like, where's the joy? It just looks like he's not playing with any joy. He's not playing with any, he's not having fun. And look, I don't want to sit here and, call out a player's body language, but we all see it on the court. And, look, he has been playing a lot of minutes, leads the league in minutes. If you want to, now let's go to the excuses. He is an Iron Man. He plays every single game. Defensively, I think he does a lot of things that don't show up in the box score lately. His assists have been up. His blocks have been good. His steals have been, he had 3 steals versus the Lakers. So it's just offensively, I think his shot is not where he needs it to be. And he's not confident. When he's not making his shots, when he's not confident in his shot, what you're seeing is him do hockey assist, hockey passes, not looking to the hoop. That Laker game was, man, alarming. Like, I was like, bro, 6 shot attempts. And that game alone is like, sometimes I've said this multiple times. It just feels like he wants to make the perfect play all the time. He doesn't want to deviate from the plan. He doesn't want to, make a mistake. And look, they signed Campaign. They signed Landry Shamet. They signed now PJ Tucker. All of these guys have history with Mikal Bridges. So maybe, the Knicks see value in the PJ Tucker signing. Like, look, man, light a spark under him because we need Mikal now with our captain down because his performance just I haven't gotten my money's worth.
Yeah. Look, I mean, we've seen the flashes obviously with Mikal, and I think Mikal, for the most part, is doing a great job, especially like you mentioned, defensively. He's doing a lot of things that just don't show up on the box score. Look, he's playing every single game. He's out there guarding the best player majority of the game. You know, I don't think it's so much like obviously, yes, there's a lot on Mikel's shoulders, obviously pressure from the fan base and things like that. But I blame more so the coaching staff when it comes to Mikal Bridges. I just feel like they don't know how to utilize him properly.
Yeah.
I feel like they should be running an actual, type of offense where, you got Mikal Bridges doing some sort of action, right? To get him the ball, to get him involved. Same thing with Cat, same thing with OG Anunoby. I want to see different actions, get creative, do something differently.
We saw some of that versus the Clippers. Mikal running off picks. Josh Hart sending great picks for Mikal. Preston Achua set a great pick for Mikal, getting him open. 8-12, efficient night. We saw that versus the Clippers. A good step in the right direction.
Why? But why do we got to see that after Jalen Brunson goes down? That's my biggest gripe with it all. I just think all season long that should have been kind of the thing. Get these guys involved. Get creative on offense. Don't just park guys in the corner. Obviously, there's a time to do those things. And look, I'm not an NBA coach. I'm not trying to bash on Tibbs per se. Obviously he's a good coach. He's brought us to where we're at right now. We have a great record still and all that. But again, I just feel with the talent we have, at least our starting five,
Yeah.
there shouldn't be, there should be multiple plays running for these guys, Cat, Mikal, OG. That's why I feel the onus is more on the coaching staff than it is on guys like Mikal, who, I think these guys are giving it their all out there. But if the scheme is bad, the scheme is bad on offense. They gotta change it up, in my opinion.
Somebody wrote in the chat, and it was an interesting comment. Let me just pull this up really quick. Sorry, this is He says, Lee Bonner, what's going on, Lee? This team and coach are a mismatch. That's a deep comment right there, if you really think about it. And then Lamar says, I agree, Lee. Crimes Dad says, yes. Lee, what's going on? I appreciate the comment. This team and coach are a mismatch. A lot of people feel that way. A lot of people do. And look, I don't think anything will go down until this summer. And we shall see on that front. Size 9 says maybe, just maybe, this is just who he is. Mikal has been, last week I said he's been okay, man. And right now he's just shooting poorly. And I think when he's not trusting his shot, Chris, when his shot's not going in, that's when I think he reverts to his teammates. His assists are up. His shots are not going in. He has no confidence. Lakers game, he didn't look at the hoop at all. So he's struggling from 3 right now. If you look deep in the numbers, he's really struggling from 3 right now, and he just needs to snap out of it. The Knicks as a whole are struggling from 3. I said it earlier. They're shooting 24% from 3 in their last 3 games. You're not going to win many games like that. You're not. So they got to get it together. They got to get it together.
Yeah, man. I just, again, obviously it's a team issue at whole. They got to figure it out, and that's why, that's the silver lining that I want to take away. Yes, Jalen Brunson is gone for the next 2 weeks. Hopefully he comes back sooner, whatever the case may be. But, this is an opportunity for this Knicks squad to figure things out, Same with the coaching staff. These are just things that I'm pinpointing that I would like to see, obviously, and things that I've been seeing where I feel like, all right, we can get better. We can get better. We can get a little bit more creative. So, look, this coaching staff, it's a good coaching staff. Don't get me wrong. This is a good coaching staff. We have a great record for all the ups and downs throughout this season. We have a good record. There's things to be happy about, but I mean, I can't be the only one that thinks that we can't get a better product on that court with who we have out there.
I agree. We surveyed 100 people What was the survey? Says Mikal was player of the month in January and Thibs was still a coach. I think something else is going on in the locker room that Mikal just isn't into it right now. Kolek can save him. This Rover says, I also agree. Honestly, Thibs keeps trying to make grilled chicken when he's been given pork chops. Prezi says, here we go again with the Thibs hate. Uncle Drake says, I'm starting to feel this coach is not for this particular team. Too many question marks. He does better with less talented teams for some reason. I think Mikal is just mental, man. The talent is there. Look, you gave up a lot for him. The talent is there. He's shown you this year that he's had it in him. The month of December was amazing for Mikal Bridges. And I just think he just has to shoot better. If it's mental, you got to get him right. You got to get him right somehow, get him involved, get him going, get him easy shots. If he sees one go in, maybe that gets him going. But from three, Chris, he's just been struggling. I think that's taking a toll on him. But yeah, I mean, Mikal's a polarizing player. Obviously, he gave a lot for him. You're not really getting the return back yet. But there's been times this season where you have. There's been games where I'm like, yo, he's worth every pick.
Yeah.
This season.
Yeah.
Against the Spurs, there's been games where I'm like, that's the Mikal.
Yeah. It's there. It's there. It has to be unlocked. Just has to be unlocked. I mean, obviously, yes, that's some of that is on him. And again, I still think a part of it is the coaching staff. But again, like you mentioned, it is year one of this core. I'm not looking. I don't want to look ahead to what year two is going to be because honestly, I still feel they have a good opportunity to figure some things out here without Jalen Brunson. That's just the way I feel. I mean, that's what I'm hoping for.
Likewise. So, Mikal, get going soon. Clippers game, good step in the right direction. Once again, appreciate every single one of you tuning in. If you haven't done so already, smash the subscribe button, hit the like button. 15 likes, get it up to 20 likes. Appreciate you guys giving us your time on this Sunday evening. Have a Patreon now, have a YouTube membership where I'm breaking down film. This past week wasn't too kindly breaking down the film, but you guys can become a member down low. Just hit the join button. Really appreciate the support. I'm really trying to grow the channel, and once again, appreciate the support and everything. So Knicks on a West Coast trip, just signed PJ Tucker. He's not going to be with the team in Sacramento, but look, they got to snap out of it, right? And one way they can do that is shoot better, and Josh Hart needs to shoot better, and he needs to shoot when he's open, because what you're seeing in this offense is Lakers didn't respect Hart. He did hit a big three in that fourth quarter, but teams are not respecting Hart. We saw it a bit in that Clippers game. Teams are just hanging around in the paint, right? And, it's when he's not shooting well, when he's not being decisive. Even Cat in that Clipper game got frustrated with Josh Hart, passed him, wide open shot in the corner. Cat sitting there like, shoot it. Like you heard him like loud and clear, shoot it, shoot the basketball. So they got to snap out of it, and a big win in Sacramento could just do that. But what we want to see, Mikal involved early and often. Tyler Kolek, man, I really want to see him play. I really do. So if Tom Thibodeau, if you're watching, I know you're not. You're probably looking at film. Tyler Kolek, I think he can, pretty much help the offense. He can't hurt it. He can help the offense. Play the rook, man. Play the kid. Just play him, man. Just play Kolek.
It would be nice. It would be nice, but let's be honest. That's probably like a 20-30% chance that even happens, But it would be nice to see Tyler Kolek out there. Like you said, I don't think it can hurt, obviously. Or hell, play some of these guys we recently acquired, like Wright. Why not play Wright out there a bit? See what he has, A few minutes isn't going to kill us, right? So, I don't know. We definitely just got to mix it up. We got to figure something out. But I agree when it comes to Josh Hart. Unfortunately, he's reverting back. I know he has a bad knee. I know he's banged up as well. But if you're out there playing, you get the ball and you're wide open, you got to take those shots. Josh Hart was shooting the ball amazing to start this
Yeah.
season.
Yeah.
And now he's reverting back to that, hesitating, teams not respecting him, dropping back, which just, at that point, especially late in games, can you even have Josh Hart out there at this point? Because it's just hurting you. Just like it did against the LA game. They were just dropping back. In my opinion, Deuce McBride probably should have been out there at that point in time, or, whoever, somebody who at least was going to be able to shoot a three. But I feel like, again, that changed that game. I made it easier for LA to defend us. But look, a lot of questions, right? A lot of questions that this Knicks team has to solve one way or the other.
Lamar says, man, F it. Start Tyler Kolek. Michael says, Kolek greater than Payne. I'm sick of Payne's shot selection. He killed Bridges' hot hand with his dumb shots against the Clippers. Yeah, look, Deuce, starting at the point guard, that's why I don't think it was wise to start Deuce. He plays really well with Brunson, Chris, and most of the Knicks, all like their top five the top five lineups in terms of net rating, positive net rating, involve Deuce McBride. But when you ask him to be a point guard, I don't think that's his strong suit. I don't think, we saw it in the Laker game where he really didn't feel confident getting Karl Anthony Towns that basketball late in the game. Like, he didn't really feel confident in his angle. And Deuce is good, but I think I don't hate it. I don't hate to start Kolek and then bring Deuce in off the bench again. I don't hate it. Try something.
Yeah, mix it up.
Try something.
Mix it up.
Hit some of these comments, Chris. Prezi says, can we hold the players accountable instead of blaming Thibs and his staff? He's not missing shots. Our squad has to get better at scoring without Captain Clutch and Bodega Cat. Yeah. We got to get better. Either with coaching staff, players, Chris, we all got to get better.
I can hold the players accountable for sure, but you got to hold the coaching staff accountable too. I mean, I think, again, I sound like a broken record. Yeah, they're missing their shots, but what can the coaching staff do in that scenario? Draw up a play where they get open and then get a better look. Maybe they hit the open shot. I mean, look, it's accountability across the board, in my opinion.
Yeah. It's a valid point. All right. This poll, 50 votes on the poll. Appreciate you guys voting on the poll. How are you feeling about this Knicks season right now? Confident, cautiously optimistic, frustrated, waking me up for the playoffs. So far, frustrated is winning the poll with 44% of the vote. How are you feeling, Chris, about this season right now? Confident, cautiously optimistic, frustrated, or wake me up when the playoffs start?
Yeah, I'll say frustrated. Lots of ups and downs, and just players going off, and then obviously falling off a cliff, dealing with injuries. Now it's been frustrating, man. It's been frustrating. I mean, I feel like this team has so much more potential.
Yeah, it does. I would say, yeah, I'm frustrated. I am. It's a frustrating season. It's like a weird season, man. Your record's good. You're third in the East. You had great spurts early on in the season. Your offense was clicking on all cylinders. You were an elite offense, and then all of a sudden, you just haven't gone back to that point. Now you're dealing with Mitch came back, Brunson goes down. Portis finally gets playing time, then he goes down.
Yeah.
You signed PJ Tucker. I think he'll play. And guys are banged up. Mikal's inconsistent. But it's been one of those seasons.
Yeah.
It's been one of those seasons, but it's not over yet. It's not over. It's not over, man.
It's not. Look, any team can get hot at the right moment, right?
As long as we got JB, we got a shot. I've been saying that for years, man. Get to the playoffs, and it's a different game in the playoffs for sure. Got to see what this team looks like with Tucker. We got a dog, ladies and gentlemen. We finally got a dog on this team. The Knicks have been playing kind of soft lately, and Tucker brings an edge, brings a spark, and we'll just see what he can bring. Like, he's 39 years old. He could be out of shape. for all we know. But Tucker can't hurt, Chris. Can't hurt.
No, I think that's going to be a boost one way or the other. You know, obviously defensively, and obviously just that veteran presence. And look, and hopefully it turns things around for Mikal, right? You know, that's his boy, so hopefully that's another positive. I mean, it's no secret the Knicks are trying to, keep Mikal happy.
They are. Lamar says it's frustrating because everything can and should be better. All right, Chris, trivia.
Let's do it.
Those of you in the chat, we do trivia every single podcast episode. This week, it is my turn to ask Chris a question. Just trying to turn this music down. There we go. That was too loud. My turn to ask Chris a question. Every week we do trivia. Appreciate every single one of you joining us. Apple, Spotify. Please hit that follow button. Please leave us a review. I think this is a layup, Chris. Who is Thibs about to pass in all-time Knicks coaching wins? Who is Thibs about to pass in all-time Knicks coaching wins? Is it A, Pat Riley, B, Jeff Van Gundy, C, Hubie Brown, D, Joe Lapchick?
So this is a layup. All time. Who is Tibbs, especially after this conversation we've been having about the coaching staff and all that, right? Who is Tibbs about to pass it? All-time Knicks coaching wins. I see some A's in the chat. I see a B in the chat. I'm leaning towards A, Pat Riley. That's where I'm leaning towards. I think I'll just make that my final answer.
Is that your final answer? All right, let's go down. Let's go through the wins. So, A, Pat Riley currently has 223. Well, he has 223 wins. Tom Thibodeau has 215 wins. Jeff Van Gundy has 248 wins. Joe Lapchick has 326 wins. So if you go down the list, one is Red Holzman with 613 wins.
Wow.
2 is Joe Lapchick with 326 wins. 3 is Jeff Van Gundy with 248. 4 is Pat Riley with 223. And at number 5 is Tom Thibodeau with 215 wins. So he needs 8 more wins to pass, 9 more wins to pass Pat Riley for 4th place.
Hey.
For win total.
Look, man. Tibbs, he's a great coach, man. He's a great coach. Again, I'll say it. You know, he's gotten us to where he has gotten us.
He did his job, man.
But can he do things a little bit better? I believe so. Believe so.
He did his job, man. Need some fresh blood in there, man.
Oh, you're saying you want Tibbs out?
At some point, it just gets stale, Chris. We've seen it around the league multiple times. At some point, you get a fresh blood in here. Less stubborn coach, someone willing to expand the rotation. At some point, you need that, and I think it's time. I do.
I mean, that's always been the rap when it comes to Tibbs. You know, he can get you to a certain point, but can't get you over that hump, right? I don't know. I think he can. I think Tibbs can win with the Knicks. You know, I just think they got to get a little bit creative. I think, obviously, I think losing Johnny Bryant, hurt a bit as far as creation on offense and things like that, because obviously, in the past we saw Johnny Bryant in Tibbs' ear a lot, but I don't know. I'm not ready to say, let Tibbs go just yet. I mean, look, dude is about to pass Pat Riley in all-time Knicks coaching wins. That doesn't happen by accident. I don't think these guys are tuning him out either.
Cleveland changed their coach. Boston changed their coach. Give me another situation, Chris. Lakers changed their coach, J.J. Redick, even though Darvin Ham got them to the Western Conference Finals. Now they're playing well. I just think at this point, he did his job. He did what we asked him to do. He changed the culture. But at some point, you feel when it's time to move on. Yuri in the chat doesn't want to fire Thibs. He says, so if we fire Thibs, y'all will be begging for him back. Let's be real.
I mean, it obviously, it's all going to come down to playoffs and how things look at that point, in my opinion, especially if there's going to be some sort of decision made on Tibbs. But theoretically, let's say, the Knicks want to change it up. Who do you think they go for at this point?
I don't even know. I haven't even gone down that rabbit hole.
Yeah, I wouldn't even know who'd be available.
I said last year that Thibs goes into the front office, and I wanted Johnny Bryant to kind of step in that role. Do they think about putting Rick Brunson in that role? I don't know. I don't think so. But, we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. Got a game. Sacramento. Go win. Mikal, keep doing your step up, please. We got to win. What you think, Chris? Next 3 games. Predict the record. You got Sacramento. You got... I think you got Golden State mixed in there. And then you have Portland. So, which isn't a pushover.
Oh, man. You know what? I'm going to go positive. I'm going to say 2-1. I'm going to say 2-1. I think we can compete with Sacramento and obviously Portland. I'll say the Golden State game might be the one that gets us. I'll say 2-1.
The bobblehead behind you could coach better, man.
I saw that comment.
That's hilarious. You say Crimes Dad always bringing the heat. Appreciate you, Crimes Dad. Prezi says they were ready to fire that man and decided to keep him, and then boom. Yeah, remember what was it? Ian Begley said that the Knicks were looking into, the Knicks started slow. I think it was last year, and the Knicks were looking into it, and then the Knicks went on a run, and then that's what saved Dibs' job. But Jeremy says 1-2. Terrell says 2-1. You have Sacramento at Portland at Golden State. I think you could get this Sacramento game. Portland is not a pushover. They're playing well. They've been playing well. I think they're in the play-in tournament now. So they've been playing well. They're young. They're scrappy. They're energetic. At Golden State, that should be a tough one. Hey, 2-1, best case scenario. 1-2, obviously, I think is more realistic. Then you come home to Miami, and then the schedule gets easier after that. But go out there and win. Yuri says 3-0. Let's go, boys. Appreciate every single one of you in the chat. Once again, hopping in the Knicks Nation podcast. This is episode 99. One more to 100. Let's go.
Wow. 100.
Crazy.
Episodes right around the corner.
Yep. This Rover says, I predicted 0-5 starting with the Clippers game, so 0-3. Sheesh.
Damn.
0-5, man. It's on the table. It is on the table. I'll tell you that. But these 10:30 starts suck.
It's rough.
Last two of the season. Let's go. Let's get through it. Isaiah, what's going on? Hope all is well. Appreciate you hopping in here. We are out of here, though. Appreciate every single one of you guys tuning in. I'm Anthony from Knicks Nation.
I'm Chris.
Catch you guys next time. Peace.
Peace.